Hello guys, welcome back to Basketball Fan. Today we're talking about something that really gives fans a deeper understanding of what it truly means to represent the United States on the basketball stage. When people hear comments from Stephanie White, it provides a perspective that goes beyond highlights, box scores, or the excitement of game day. Her words reveal the deeper culture behind USA basketball and why being part of that environment is considered such a special and meaningful experience for both coaches and players. For many people involved in the sport, the dream of contributing to the national team begins long before they ever reach the professional level. Coaches spend years building their reputations, developing systems, and learning how to lead teams, all while hoping that one day they might have the opportunity to represent their country. For players, the dream often starts when they are young athletes watching international competitions and imagining what it would feel like to wear a jersey with USA written across the front. That moment carries enormous significance because it represents the culmination of years of dedication, sacrifice, and relentless work to reach the highest level of the game. For Stephanie White, being part of the national team coaching staff is far more than simply adding another role to her resume. It is an honor that carries tremendous responsibility. When the best players in the country come together in one place, expectations naturally rise to an entirely different level. Every decision made by the coaching staff matters, from the way practices are structured to how rotations are managed during games. In a normal professional season, teams have time to experiment, adjust, and gradually develop their identity. But within the national team environment, the margin for error is extremely small. The entire world is watching, and the expectation is not just to compete, but to perform with excellence. That level of scrutiny can be intense, yet it is also what makes the experience so meaningful. Being trusted with the opportunity to guide some of the most talented athletes in the world is something that few coaches ever experience, and White understands how important it is to embrace both the honor and the pressure that come with that role. One of the most important things that stood out from White's comments is the incredible level of professionalism that exists inside a Team USA environment. Even though many of the athletes involved are already stars in the Women's National Basketball Association, they do not arrive at training camp with a sense of entitlement or complacency. Instead, they bring the same hunger to improve that helped them reach the top of the sport in the first place. Every practice becomes an opportunity to sharpen skills, refine communication, and build the chemistry necessary to compete against the best international teams. This commitment to constant improvement is one of the defining characteristics of elite athletes. Talent may open the door, but sustained success requires discipline, preparation, and a willingness to push beyond comfort zones day after day. White also spoke about the influence that veteran players have within the national team structure. Many of these athletes have spent years competing at the highest level of basketball, accumulating experience not only in professional leagues, but also in international tournaments. Their presence creates a powerful example for younger players who are just beginning to establish themselves. Watching how these veterans approach preparation can be eye-opening for newcomers. From the moment they enter the gym, everything is done with intention. Warm-ups are not rushed or taken lightly. Recovery routines are carefully planned to ensure the body remains ready for the demands of competition. Film study becomes an opportunity to identify subtle adjustments that can make the difference between winning and losing in close games. These small details may not always be visible to fans, but they are essential to maintaining excellence over the course of a long career. For younger players, observing this level of dedication can be incredibly valuable. Instead of learning through years of trial and error, they gain direct exposure to the habits that have allowed veteran athletes to remain at the top of the sport for so long. They see how discipline extends beyond game performance and into every aspect of preparation. That knowledge becomes a blueprint for their own development. When they return to their professional teams, they carry those lessons with them, raising the standard not only for themselves, but also for the players around them. In this way, the national team environment serves as both a competitive platform and a powerful learning experience that shapes the future of the sport. Another major point that White emphasized is the challenge of building chemistry within such a short period of time. In a typical professional season, Teams spend months together practicing, traveling, and competing. Over that time, players gradually develop an instinctive understanding of each other's tendencies. They learn how teammates prefer to receive the ball, how they move within offensive sets, and how they communicate defensively during high-pressure moments. This process cannot be rushed, and it often takes a significant portion of the season before a team truly finds its rhythm. With Team USA, however, that luxury of time does not always exist. Players arrive from different teams, different coaching systems, and sometimes even different countries where they have been playing overseas. Each of them is accustomed to a specific role within their own organization. Many are primary scorers, playmakers, or defensive anchors for their teams. When they come together under the national team banner, those roles may change dramatically. A player who usually takes 20 shots per game might need to focus on facilitating offense or defending multiple positions. Another athlete who is used to controlling the pace might be asked to adjust to a faster or more structured system. These transitions require flexibility and maturity because they challenge players to think about the game in new ways. Sharing the spotlight becomes an essential part of the process. Individual statistics that might matter during a professional season become far less important when representing a country. The ultimate goal shifts toward collective success. Winning for the name on the front of the jersey becomes the priority, and that mindset encourages players to support each other in ways that go beyond personal achievements. White explained that creating this team-first mentality is one of the most important responsibilities of the coaching staff. Communication must be clear and consistent so that every player understands how their skills contribute to the overall strategy. Transparency plays a crucial role in making this system work effectively. When players know exactly what is expected of them, they can focus their energy on fulfilling those responsibilities to the best of their ability. Coaches must be honest about roles, rotations, and game plans while also reinforcing the importance of trust within the group. When athletes believe in the system and in each other, chemistry can develop much more quickly than people might expect. That trust becomes the foundation for everything the team does on the court. Another fascinating aspect of the national team experience is the level of competition that naturally emerges during practices. When some of the best players in the world gather in one gym, every drill becomes intense. Players challenge each other, push each other, and constantly strive to raise the level of performance. This competitive atmosphere benefits the entire team because it prepares them for the pressure they will face during international games. If athletes can thrive in practice against elite teammates, they are better equipped to handle the challenges posed by top opponents from around the world. The pride associated with representing the United States also plays a powerful role in uniting the team. Regardless of individual accomplishments, every player understands the significance of wearing that jersey. It represents a legacy built by generations of athletes who have dedicated themselves to excellence. Being part of that tradition carries emotional weight, and it inspires players to give everything they have when they step onto the court. Even those who are new to the program quickly feel the impact of that history and the responsibility that comes with it. For Stephanie White, witnessing this unity develop among players is one of the most rewarding aspects of coaching the national team. Athletes who might spend most of the year competing against each other suddenly become teammates working toward the same objective. Rivalries fade as cooperation takes center stage. The focus shifts from individual matchups to collective execution. Seeing that transformation unfold is a reminder of how powerful sports can be in bringing people together around a shared purpose. Another element that often goes unnoticed by fans is the preparation required beyond the basketball court. International competition involves travel across multiple time zones, unfamiliar arenas, and opponents with different playing styles. Adjusting to these factors requires careful planning and discipline. Recovery routines become essential for maintaining peak physical condition. Nutrition, sleep schedules, and film analysis all play important roles in ensuring the team is ready for each game. Veteran players often take the lead in demonstrating how to manage these challenges effectively, and their guidance helps younger teammates adapt more quickly to the demands of international tournaments. The environment created by USA Basketball also reinforces the importance of leadership. While coaches provide strategic direction, players themselves must communicate constantly on the floor. Defensive rotations, offensive spacing, and tempo control all rely on quick decisions and clear communication. Teams that develop strong leadership within the roster often find greater success because players hold each other accountable while maintaining a supportive atmosphere. As the program continues to evolve, maintaining this culture of professionalism and teamwork remains a priority. Each new generation of players brings unique talents and perspectives, yet the underlying values remain the same. Commitment to preparation, respect for teammates, and dedication to representing the country with pride form the foundation of the program's success. Coaches like Stephanie White play a vital role in preserving these principles while guiding the team toward future achievements. For fans watching from around the world, understanding these behind-the-scenes dynamics can deepen their appreciation for the performances they see on the court. Every assist, defensive stop, and clutch shot is the result of countless hours spent building trust and refining strategy. The chemistry that appears effortless during games is actually the product of deliberate effort and shared commitment. Recognizing that process highlights the true significance of representing the United States in basketball. So as we continue following the journey of Team USA and the incredible athletes who make up the roster, it's important to remember the lessons shared by Stephanie White. Excellence at this level is not accidental. It is built through preparation, communication, and a willingness to place the team above individual recognition. That philosophy has allowed USA Basketball to maintain its reputation as one of the most respected programs in the world, and it continues to inspire players and coaches who dream of one day contributing to that legacy. And that's exactly why the experience means so much to everyone involved. It's not just about playing the game. It's about representing a tradition of dedication, unity, and pride that stretches across generations of athletes. Moments like these remind us why basketball continues to bring people together and why the journey of Team USA remains such a powerful story to follow here on Basketball Fan. Hello everyone and welcome back to Basketball Fan, the place where we break down the biggest stories, performances, and behind-the-scenes insights from the world of basketball. Today, we're taking a deeper look at the early stages of this international tournament and what the initial results are telling us about the direction of the team. So far, the opening stretch of games has shown some very encouraging signs. The team's early start in the tournament has demonstrated that the talent level on the roster is not just impressive on paper, but also capable of making a real impact on the court. When a group of elite athletes comes together for international competition, one of the biggest questions is always how quickly they can transform individual talent into cohesive team basketball. Early results suggest that this group is already moving in that direction. The depth of the roster has been evident from the opening moments of competition. Multiple players have stepped up to contribute in different ways, whether through scoring, defense, playmaking, or simply bringing energy off the bench. In international tournaments, having that type of depth can be a massive advantage because the schedule is often intense and teams sometimes play multiple games in a short period of time. Being able to rely on different players to step in and maintain a high level of performance helps sustain momentum throughout the competition. Head coach Stephanie White acknowledged that the opening game came with a natural amount of nervous energy, something that is completely understandable given the makeup of the roster. Many players on this team are experiencing the international stage for the first time, and even athletes who have already built strong reputations in professional leagues can feel the pressure when representing their country. The lights are brighter, the expectations are higher, and the meaning behind every possession carries a little more weight. That combination can lead to some early jitters, particularly during the first few minutes of a tournament. But what matters most is how a team responds once those nerves settle down. In this case, the response was very positive. As the game progressed, the players began to find their rhythm and play with greater confidence. Ball movement improved noticeably, allowing the offense to generate open looks and create scoring opportunities through teamwork rather than isolation. Good passing has always been a hallmark of successful teams, and it was encouraging to see that emphasis emerge so early in the tournament. Another key aspect of the team's early success has been its shooting efficiency. When players move the ball well and trust each other to make the right decisions, the offense tends to flow more naturally. That rhythm creates higher quality shots and forces opposing defenses to work much harder to keep up. In these early games, the team demonstrated the ability to space the floor effectively, attack gaps in the defense, and capitalize on the opportunities created through smart passing. Shooting well is often a reflection of confidence, and confidence tends to grow when players feel comfortable within the system. Seeing that connection develop so quickly is a strong indicator that the group is beginning to understand how to function as a unit rather than a collection of individual stars. Defense has also played an important role in the team's positive start. International competition often features a wide variety of playing styles, and teams must adapt quickly to opponents who may rely on different offensive structures or tempos. Strong defensive execution provides stability in those situations because it allows a team to control the pace of the game and limit easy scoring opportunities. The early performances showed solid communication on the defensive end, with players rotating effectively and supporting each other when pressure increased. That type of coordination is essential because defense requires complete trust among teammates. Every player must believe that the person behind them will cover the next responsibility, and that level of trust is something that grows through repetition and shared experience. Despite the encouraging signs, Coach White made it clear that the process of building a championship-level team is far from complete. Early wins and promising stretches of play are valuable, but they do not guarantee long-term success. In fact, the most successful programs often use these moments as opportunities to identify areas that still need improvement. White pointed out that there are still moments during games when attention to detail slips. These lapses can occur for many reasons. Sometimes fatigue begins to set in, especially when teams are playing on consecutive days. Other times the pressure of close games can lead to small mistakes that disrupt the flow of execution. While these moments might seem minor to casual viewers, coaches view them as crucial teaching opportunities. For a program like USA Basketball, the difference between winning comfortably and completely dominating international competition often comes down to those tiny details. Things like defensive positioning, precise timing on cuts, or quick decision-making during transitions can determine whether a possession ends with a high-quality shot or a turnover. Coaches spend countless hours reviewing film and breaking down these moments because refining them can elevate a team from very good to truly elite. In a tournament setting where every game matters and adjustments must be made quickly, maintaining focus on these details becomes even more important. Another topic that generated significant excitement among fans was the return of Caitlin Clark to the court. Clark has become one of the most talked about players in women's basketball, known for her remarkable shooting range, creativity as a passer, and ability to control the tempo of a game. Many fans were eager to see how she would perform after spending some time away from live competition, and her early contributions did not disappoint. Coach White spoke very positively about Clark's presence on the floor, emphasizing her ability to facilitate the offense and bring structure to the team's attack. One of Clark's greatest strengths is her vision as a playmaker. She has an exceptional understanding of spacing and timing, which allows her to anticipate opportunities before they fully develop. That ability to read the floor makes her a valuable asset because it helps teammates find open positions and creates scoring chances that might not exist otherwise. Confidence is also a major part of the growth process. Early wins help build belief within the locker room. When players see the results of their hard work translating into success on the court, it reinforces the idea that they are moving in the right direction. That confidence encourages athletes to trust the system and rely on each other during difficult moments. At the same time, the coaching staff must ensure that confidence does not turn into complacency. Maintaining focus and humility is essential because international basketball can be unpredictable. Opponents are constantly studying film and searching for ways to exploit weaknesses. As the tournament continues, the team will face new challenges that test their adaptability. Some opponents may emphasize physical defense, while others rely on fast-paced defenses that push the tempo. Being prepared for these variations requires flexibility in both strategy and mindset. The coaching staff will continue making adjustments, experimenting with lineups, and encouraging players to expand their roles when necessary. This willingness to evolve is often what separates good teams from championship teams. For fans watching the tournament unfold, the journey itself can be just as exciting as the final results. Seeing a group of talented athletes gradually develop chemistry, overcome obstacles, and refine their style of play creates a compelling narrative. Each game adds another chapter to that story, revealing more about the character and potential of the team. Here on Basketball Fan, we love exploring those deeper layers of the game. Basketball is not just about scoring points or celebrating highlight plays. It's also about strategy, teamwork, preparation, and the dedication required to compete at the highest level. The early stages of this tournament have already provided a glimpse of what this team might become as they continue to grow together. If the progress we've seen so far is any indication, the future looks very promising. The roster's depth, the leadership from the coaching staff, and the individual talents of players like Caitlin Clark all contribute to a foundation that could lead to significant achievements. Of course, there is still plenty of work ahead. Championships are not won in the first few games of a tournament. They are earned through consistent effort, careful adjustments, and the determination to improve every single day. As the competition moves forward, all eyes will remain on how this team continues to evolve. Will their chemistry strengthen with each game? Will new players step into bigger roles? And how will the lessons learned during this tournament shape their preparation for future international battles? Those questions make the journey even more intriguing for fans around the world. So make sure you stay tuned right here on Basketball Fan, because we'll continue following every development, breaking down every performance, and bringing you the stories behind the game. The tournament may only be getting started, but the potential we've seen so far suggests that this team could be building something truly exciting. And if they continue learning, improving, and playing with the unity that Coach Stephanie White is emphasizing, the best moments of this journey may still be ahead. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Basketball Fan, where we dive deep into the stories, interviews, and insights that shape the world of basketball. Today, we're continuing our discussion about the journey of USA Basketball and the perspective shared by head coach Stephanie White, whose message about the direction of the team reveals a lot about what is happening behind the scenes. At its core, her message is actually very simple, but incredibly powerful. The journey for this team is ongoing, and what makes it so exciting is the combination of youthful talent, experienced veterans, and a coaching staff that is deeply committed to development. When those elements come together in the right way, they create a foundation that can grow stronger over time. White believes that this particular group is building something meaningful, something that could eventually turn into a dominant force on the international stage if they continue progressing the way they have been. From her perspective, the most encouraging signs are not just the wins or the statistics, but the energy, competitiveness, and willingness to learn that she sees from the players every single day. Those qualities are what give her confidence that the team will continue to improve and that fans will witness a steady evolution as the tournament unfolds and as the program prepares for even bigger challenges in the future. During the conversation, the interviewer Jeremiah welcomed White onto the show and reflected on how great it was to see her again, especially with the event taking place in Puerto Rico. The moment had a relaxed, but excited tone, as if everyone involved understood that they were witnessing something special. White herself has had many interesting roles throughout her career, both as a player and a coach, but the opportunity to be part of the national team coaching staff stands out as one of the most meaningful experiences she has ever had in basketball. When asked what it feels like to coach Team USA, her response was immediate and heartfelt. She described the opportunity as the ultimate dream for anyone who has grown up around the sport. For her, the connection goes back to her own experiences as a player. Being involved in USA Basketball as an athlete was already an incredible honor, but stepping into the coaching role now allows her to contribute in a completely different way. It gives her the chance to guide the next generation of players and help shape the direction of the program moving forward. She explained that her first experience with the coaching staff came the previous fall, and since then the journey has continued to grow into something she deeply values. For someone who has spent a lifetime around the game, being part of the national team environment represents a dream realized. The interviewer also asked whether there had been any wow moments for her while coaching such an extraordinary collection of talent. White's answer made it clear that those moments happen constantly. According to her, almost every day on the practice floor feels like a wow moment because of the level of skill and dedication displayed by the athletes. In professional basketball, particularly in the Women's National Basketball Association, players already compete against the best talent in the world. But when those same players gather together under the banner of Team USA, the concentration of talent becomes even more impressive. Suddenly, the best players in the United States are all on the same roster, practicing together, pushing each other, and learning from one another. For a coach, having the opportunity to work with that kind of talent on a daily basis is both exciting and inspiring. White spoke about how amazed she often feels when watching these athletes approach their work. Their dedication and work ethic stand out immediately. The reason that so many of them eventually become legends of the sport is not just because of their natural ability, but because of the relentless discipline they bring to every aspect of their preparation. When she watches Hall of Fame level players go through their routines, she can clearly see why they have been able to maintain such high standards throughout their careers. Their commitment to the smallest details sets them apart. From the way they warm up before a game to the way they recover afterward, every step is performed with purpose. Even simple actions like stretching, shooting drills, or reviewing film become opportunities to improve. Younger players who are part of the team gain an incredible learning opportunity simply by observing these habits. They witness firsthand how elite athletes structure their daily routines and how that consistency helps them stay at the top of the sport year after year. White emphasized that the national team environment creates a powerful educational setting for developing players. Younger athletes can see exactly what it takes to succeed at the highest level. They observe the discipline, the attention to detail, and the mental focus that veteran players bring to every practice and every game. Watching those habits up close can have a lasting impact because it shows that greatness is built through daily commitment rather than occasional flashes of brilliance. For the coaching staff, being on the floor with these athletes and guiding them through the process is both exciting and rewarding. There is a certain adrenaline that comes with being involved in such high-level competition. Even while standing on the sideline, White admits that she sometimes feels the urge to jump back into the game herself. The intensity and skill level of the players make the experience incredibly fun, and that enthusiasm spreads throughout the entire team. When the conversation shifted toward the team's performance in the tournament so far, White offered a balanced and honest evaluation. The team has started strong with a 2-0 record, which is certainly a positive sign. However, she also acknowledged that the opening game included some nervous moments. That kind of nervousness is completely natural, especially for players who are participating in international competition for the first time. The pressure of representing one's country can create a unique emotional atmosphere, and it sometimes takes a little time for players to settle into their rhythm. In the first game, those nerves were visible early on, but as the game progressed, the team began to relax and play with more confidence. Once they found their rhythm, several aspects of their performance stood out. The team shot the ball extremely well, demonstrating the offensive firepower that exists throughout the roster. Ball movement was another highlight, as players shared the basketball effectively and created opportunities for one another rather than relying on isolation plays. Defensively, the team also executed well in many stretches, showing the type of intensity that coaches hope to see from a group that wants to compete at the highest level. At the same time, White noted that there were moments of inconsistency during the second game, particularly because the team was playing on consecutive days. Back-to-back games can be physically and mentally demanding, especially when players are still adjusting to a new system and learning to work together. During those stretches, the team experienced some lapses in attention to detail. While those mistakes might seem minor to casual observers, coaches recognize that small lapses can have significant consequences in close games. White explained that when young players are experiencing this environment for the first time, they are still learning the urgency required at this level of competition. Every possession matters, and even brief moments of lost focus can change the momentum of a game. The coaching staff understands that some level of slippage is inevitable, particularly during the early stages of a tournament. However, their goal is to shorten the gap between those moments and respond more quickly when mistakes occur. By studying game film and analyzing specific situations, the team can identify areas where improvement is needed. White emphasized that this entire process is about progress. The team does not expect perfection immediately, but they do expect steady growth. Each game provides new lessons, and the coaching staff uses those lessons to guide the team toward better performances in the future. Another topic that generated tremendous excitement among fans was the presence of Caitlin Clark on the roster. Many supporters had been eagerly waiting to see her return to the court, and White shared her thoughts on Clark's early performances in the tournament. According to the coach, Clark has been outstanding so far. In the opening game, she immediately set the tone for the offense with her playmaking ability. White described her as one of the greatest passers the game has ever seen, a player capable of reading the floor and delivering precise passes that create scoring opportunities for teammates. Having a player with that level of vision can transform the entire offense because it encourages movement and teamwork. Clark's ability to facilitate became even more valuable because she was surrounded by so many talented teammates. With multiple scoring threats on the floor, she had plenty of options when distributing the ball. White pointed out that part of Clark's challenge is learning how each teammate prefers to play and figuring out how to put them in positions where they can succeed. That process requires communication, observation, and adaptability, all of which Clark has handled extremely well. In addition to her passing, Clark also performed well as a shooter during the first game. White appreciated the fact that she did not rush her shots or force plays unnecessarily. Instead, she maintained composure and allowed the offense to develop naturally. There was some concern that Clark might feel nervous returning to game action after spending time away from the court, but those nerves did not seem to affect her performance. She looked comfortable, confident, and fully engaged on both ends of the floor. Defensively, Clark also contributed in meaningful ways. While she is often recognized for her offensive skills, White noted that she held her own on the defensive side as well, showing awareness and effort throughout the game. In the second matchup, the opposing team from Puerto Rico applied more aggressive pressure, attempting to disrupt the offense and challenge Clark's decision-making. This forced her to adapt to a slightly different style of play, but according to White, that adjustment simply demonstrated why Clark is considered an elite player. She responded to the pressure by controlling the pace of the game and making smart decisions that kept the offense functioning effectively. Another factor that impressed the coaching staff was Clark's ability to handle the physical demands of back-to-back games after being away from competition for a while. Simulating the intensity of real game action during training is extremely difficult. Nothing truly replicates the adrenaline, speed, and unpredictability of live competition. Yet Clark managed to step into that environment and perform at a high level almost immediately. White credited her off-season preparation for helping make that possible. The work she put in away from the spotlight clearly paid off when the moment arrived to return to the court. As the interview moved toward its conclusion, the focus shifted to the future and what the coaching staff hopes to accomplish in the coming days and weeks. White explained that the primary goal is to continue making positive progress. The team wants to address areas where attention to detail has slipped and strengthen the habits that lead to consistent performance. Some of these improvements may not be obvious to the average viewer, but they're extremely important when it comes to competing for championships. White also mentioned that the team is thinking beyond the current tournament. International events like the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup remain on the horizon, and every game played now contributes to preparation for those larger challenges. Building chemistry, refining defensive rotations, and improving communication are all part of a long-term process that extends well beyond a single event. The roster includes many new faces and young players, which means the learning curve can be steep. Even athletes who are already successful in the WNBA must adjust to the unique demands of international competition. Playing against the best players in the world on a nightly basis requires a different level of intensity and focus. White believes that this group has embraced that challenge with enthusiasm. She loves the youthful energy that the players bring to the court, and she appreciates how hard they compete during both practices and games. Perhaps most importantly, she emphasized how coachable this group has been. The players are eager to learn, open to feedback, and committed to improving. They support each other, communicate well, and create a positive environment that makes the entire experience enjoyable for everyone involved. For a coach, working with athletes who share that mindset is incredibly rewarding. As the interview wrapped up, the host thanked White for taking the time to speak and wished her and the team the best of luck during the remainder of their time in Puerto Rico. He also mentioned that fans of the Indiana Fever were excited about the possibility of seeing her back on their home court soon. White responded graciously, expressing appreciation for the support and the opportunity to share her perspective. And that brings us back here on Basketball Fan, where we continue to follow the journey of this talented and evolving team. The story of Team USA is far from finished. With young players gaining experience, veterans providing leadership, and coaches like Stephanie White guiding the process, the program is clearly building towards something special. Fans can look forward to watching this team grow stronger with each game, learning from every challenge and taking another step toward becoming one of the most dominant forces in international basketball.